Hey, what is going on? This is a self-elected Apeoftheyear, and today I will show you how to take off in the Yak-1 in the game Battle of Stalingrad. And after that I will do a little bit of a live commentary, but I think I will do this in two separate videos, so I will split it up. So, first of all, you need to configure some stuff, so you cannot click anything directly in the cockpit. So you will need to set up your controls. I will make a list of it, what you have to set up, and put it in the description of this video. But for everybody who has its brain enabled, he will be able to figure it out for himself too. So first thing, you need to set the PropPitch right here to fine setting. You do this by circling or turning this little wheel here all the way counterclockwise. This is going to be the right PropPitch for the takeoff and for the taxiing. Then right next to the throttle we have this little lever here. This controls the fuel mixture. Put it all the way to the front. This is the right fuel mixture for lower altitudes. And the higher you get, the more you need to slim down the fuel by reducing the fuel mixture like that. So then we need to open the coolers. Right here you see this big brown wheel. This is for the oil cooler. You need to turn it all the way counterclockwise. Then you have this green wheel up down there in the lower right. You need to do here exactly the same, so turn it all the way counterclockwise. And if you have done all these things, then you are ready to go, and you hit E on the keyboard. And the startup procedure is going to start. Now, there are going to be, he's going to return to the default settings. So everything is going to be, it seems like it's going to be in vain to do it first, but after the startup setting, everything is going to return to the setup that you did before you were hitting E. So, in the meantime, I'm going to show you right here. This is the RPM of the engine. See the 26 right there, and 26 2600 just below that is a good RPM for this engine. Above that you see the manifold pressure, and these two are going to be a little bit more important later on in the flight. I will show you that. The reason for this is the supercharger. So now the engine is started. Now we have to decide whether we are going to use the flaps. By the way, you see these sticks coming out of the wing there. If the stick is if the stick is outside of the wing, this means that the thing that the stick is indicating is outside of the wing on the downside of the wing too. So right now we see that the gear is out and the flaps are out. So would be very bad if the gear wasn't out now. So now we are going to close the canopy, and we're going to taxi to the runway. When using these Russian planes, it's important to understand that the wheel brakes of these planes do only function if you lead the air pressure that is activating the brakes by using the rudder. So when I push the left rudder and in addition to that I hit the brake, hear that sound, this will activate the left wheel brake. So if you just hit the button for the brakes and you don't hit a rudder in addition to that, a rudder direction, the air pressure is not going to be going to the wheel, and nothing is going to happen. So these brakes work a little bit different than, for example, in the German planes. Now you also have to know that the engine torque is going directly in the other way than in the German planes. So you need to apply left rudder instead of right rudder if you want to keep the plane going straight. And you can, if you want to, lock the tail wheel right now, but I don't do that. I think that it's pretty much not really necessary. I hit a lot of left rudder, full throttle. and keep the machine straight. Now, if you have applied the takeoff flaps, the machine lifts itself pretty easily into the air. And now put the flaps in. Same goes for the gear. Careful not to raise the flaps too early, because the machine drops a little bit when you do it. Now we need to set the RPM. Remember this way that we used the PropPitch at the start to make it to the fine position. Now we need to turn the wheel a little bit in the clockwise direction, and if you see the 26, you know, the needle should be just above the 26, and this is a good RPM for the engine. Now you can climb, get some altitude, and we'll see at around maybe 1.5 kilometers, something like that, you will see that the manifold pressure is going to drop. So the higher you get, the more the manifold pressure drops. You see it already. And in this, for this, we have the Supercharger. See this little lever there in front of the throttle and the engine mixture controller. We are going to set the Supercharger right now, and we see that the manifold pressure is, yeah, it jumped up a little bit again. So now we can also reduce. Higher that we get, we can reduce the engine mixture just a little bit, and I do it just 1 inch to the back, and I pretty much leave it like that. So now you can tune your plane when you are in flight. For example, when you are climbing the 109 or something, you might want to get everything out of your plane that you can, and you can do that by closing the oil cooler and the water cooler for periods of time. But I have no real basic rule for that, and it pretty much depends on your own feeling. If you know it, if you have some tricks or some tips, because I'm not the best Russian pilot, so I do not fly the Russian planes very much myself in this game. If you have some additional tricks or some hints, feel free to leave them in the comment section, so people can profit from that. So now one trick that I want to tell you about this machine when fighting with it is the flaps. You see, it takes about a few seconds to raise and lower the flaps, and it is very useful to use these flaps, at least in my opinion, if you want to turn a little bit quicker. And it's a trick that I used from my old War Thunder days or Wings of Prey days. I didn't, you know, when I started flying, I started flying with Wings of Prey, and in this game I realized pretty quickly that using the flaps in the right way is a huge advantage. So, of course, in a simulation like Cliffs of Dover with the 109, you cannot do that because the flaps take too long to raise and to lower. But right here in this game it works too, and with this machine especially. So what you want to do is, for example, let's say we have a 109 on our tail. So we do a hard evasive turn. Of course, being good pilots, we know that adding in a little bit of vertical maneuver into this turn is a good idea. So we do a kind of a yo-yo movement. And then at the top of the movement, when we are getting slow, now we are going to use the flaps in order to get more angle in a shorter amount of time in this turning. And then as soon as we start to dive down and we get some speed again, and we want to get speed again, we are going to raise the flaps. So if you do that, and you have this kind of yo-yo movement while turning, and always at the upside, at the top of the movement, use holy shit, is this a... oh no. Okay, at the top of the movement you use the flaps. In addition, you can turn a lot quicker, and this all will give you an advantage if you do it. So this is just a little trick for using this plane. Now, that being said, this machine is probably my favorite machine from all the Russian planes that are available right now. Reason is that the Li-5, while it is a very good machine, it's only performing good in lower altitudes, and the higher you get, it's the more terrible it gets. I mean, with the Yak-1, it's also not perfect. The power of the machine drops in higher altitudes too, but it's not as bad as with the LA. So this was self-elected the Ape of the Year, and the tutorial is going to end here. And I'm going to start the next video, I guess. I'm going to split it and start with the live commentary. So this was Ape, and hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and see you in the next one.